welcome to Geekology. I'm David Zabiria.
And I'm Sven Harvey.
And we're here again at England's largest cinema, that's View, up at Star City. We're in screen 30 at the moment, having just seen Zero Theorem.
Yes, absolutely.
Another Terry Gilliam film.
Yep, and as usual, the imagery was amazing.
Yeah. Do you think that the delay between his new film and his last film is just to give people a chance to sort of watch it and fully catch up?
That would make some sense, wouldn't it?
The thing is, I love his films.
Yeah.
I've never seen any of his films I disliked.
Mm.
But, sometimes it takes a while to fully process them all.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see how many different interpretations there are of each of them.
Mm.
And this one especially, I've got a feeling that, that there's going to be certain people who will interpret it one way, and then everybody else is pretty much going to be sitting there going, what?
Yeah, it did seem to have a lot of different concepts running along the same line, so it could definitely be taken in different ways.
Yeah.
But most of his films do.
Yeah.
And they always have a sort of big picture, little picture. Here's the big picture, this is what the film is, and then you can dissect it into those little bits if you really wanted to.
Yes. Yes. I mean, it was an enjoyable spectacle anyway.
Oh God! I mean, the special effects were stunning in it.
Mm-hmm.
I love how the CG in with the old school special effects.
Yes, and the fact that the emphasis was on the in-camera, non-CG stuff.
Yeah.
And they just did the CG stuff on the stuff that makes sense to do CG and wouldn't have worked any other way.
Mm.
But it was the layer. It's the whole usual Gilliam way of having layer upon layer upon layer of abstract to make up the different layers of the story.
Mm.
And as you're going through it, there's so many different thought processes going through you.
Yeah.
As to what exactly he's trying to say. And then by the end of it, it's blindingly obvious if you've been paying attention.
See, I tried to switch off from analysing the film because I find that more and more these days with sci-fi films.
Mm-hmm.
That as I'm watching, I'm analysing as I go and
Yeah.
picking bits out, and it ruins the experience for me. So I really desperately try not to. But with that film, it was very, very hard because you're constantly being bombarded by little concept bits, and it's normally stuff running around in the background.
Yeah, I mean, this is where I differ very much from you, because it's very difficult for me not to analyse it without thinking about it. Mm. It's the analysis just happens as I'm watching, so it's just I find it difficult not to in a lot of ways. But the fact that it actually dropped in the name Facebook kind of gave it away.
It did help, just a smidge. But it was an interesting mirror upon today's society and
absolutely.
Use of technology. And I love the fact that whilst there was no specific time frame mentioned within the film, so you don't quite know where it's set, they obviously set it futuristic, but the cars are present day.
Well, they were very clever. They were
using
using what are essentially concept cars to us.
And the fact that they were obviously meant to be iPhones, but they're all in quite big padded cases, so you couldn't tell what the handset was. Very Ziggy-esque.
Tablets and all that. Yeah.
The tablets I thought was a bit more of a giveaway because there was very little argument as to what those were. But the phones, they were quite clever in. But conceptually, all the technology was there, and the fact that everybody was so interconnected by their own personal technology that even in big groups, they were still isolated.
I mean, that concept of being at a party and everybody listening to their own music through headphones, that tells you.
Mind you, saying that, bizarrely enough, I've seen people do that.
Oh no, that's the point. It's like,
It's that whole "I'm going to take pictures of my food now" concept.
And you just like, really, do you really need to put all that on Facebook?
Yeah. But it's not just Facebook, it's the whole point of social media, that everybody's spending so long trying to connect and trying to that they lose the real one.
Physically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a case of you're so wrapped up in making yourself important online, you're missing out what's really important in life.
Nice that we're putting this on YouTube, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, so traditionally not a sci-fi film, but it's Gilliam, so we had to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's certain sci-fi elements to it anyway.
Oh, God,
I
yeah.
mean, this is the thing, is that what he's gone for there is an extrapolation of where we are now to the nth degree, essentially. And the fact that he's mixed in like weird versions of keyboards and the whole idea that USB sticks have been replaced by some kind of biomimetic gel.
Yeah, I was having Voyager flashbacks.
Yeah, I thought
I
you might
really was having Voyager flashbacks. No, I love the way they went with the old view of what supercomputers would be, and then mixed it in with today's tech.
Well, it was the fact that what most people would see as a mainframe was actually a neural net. And considering we're not that far away from a neural net where we are,
Yeah.
because there's one at Birmingham University and one at Aston University.
And Oxford.
And, well, yeah, that's a little further away.
Let's not go into that one, but yeah, it's there. So would you recommend it?
It depends on who is asking.
It's going to be,
Yeah.
you're going to pick your audience for that.
Very much so, very much so. I think it's something that doesn't necessarily need the big screen, but will have more impact that way. I probably will end up having it at home.
Yeah.
So that's a reasonable recommendation. It'd be interesting to see what other people make of it, especially in my family group.
I'd definitely be interested in hearing the director's comments.
Yeah,
That's
that'd
going to
see
be
exactly
one
what
where
he
you
was
go
aiming
through
for, and
all
see
the
if that
Blu-ray
lines up
features.
with what we've taken from it, which
Yeah.
should be interesting. So yeah.
But the thing is, I do get the feeling that film would definitely benefit from a second viewing.
Oh yeah, certainly, because there's going to be extra layers that we won't have noticed because we've been so focused on other things as we've been going through.
Yeah.
There's probably 5 other morality tales we haven't seen as we're going through it.
Quite possible. So, I'd definitely recommend it for anybody who wants to, any Gilliam fans.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'd say you have to see it at the cinema just to
Anybody
get
who
it.
enjoys Python as well will get it, I would have thought.
You're right there, but I personally would have said anybody that was really into the more surreal sci-fi, anybody that totally got Blade Runner the second viewing, they would love this.
Yes, absolutely.
And there were elements in it where I went, oh, that just reminds me of this, or oh, this just reminds me of that. And at no point did I feel, oh, hang on, that was stolen from such and such a film. But there were points where I went, oh, I haven't seen that in ages. I really wanted to, and I thought it was really good that without cherry picking bits and going, this is from this.
Yeah.
You got the feeling without any direct commentary. So
Yes.
I thought that was it was interesting how it was done. I'd love to
Absolutely.
know if that was just my perception of it or whether that was actually intentional.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So if you had to give it a score out of 10, where would you go?
Oh, I'll give it a 7.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I don't want to give it any more than that, but I've got a feeling it'll probably go up with further viewings.
Yeah.
I mean, what you're talking about essentially is a morality play that's surreal yet grounded in current day.
It's one of those you've got to be in the mood to
So,
see.
Yeah. It's something that one thing you don't want to be doing is going to see that after you've had a drink.
A couple of beers.
Yeah.
Ah, you never know. Well, I'd give it a good solid 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a film I'd recommend to all of my friends. I feel that people who are into slightly more surreal films and people who like big concept movies would certainly enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's definitely not one for your action fans or for your space drama fans, but for people who actually like to think about what they're viewing, it's got to be very high on the list. Well, I'm certainly glad we got to see it at the big screen.
Absolutely.
And thank you very much to View Cinemas at Star City for letting us come down and review the film. And thank you for watching. You can subscribe to us here on YouTube. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And of course, there's the official Geekology website. Have a good night.
Bye.
certainly glad we got to see it on the big screen.
Absolutely.
And talking of the big screen, thank you very much to those at Star City. Fuck's sake! 3. I used to work here. I should fucking know it. 3, 2, 1. I'm certainly glad. Well, I'm certainly glad we got to see it. Fuck off! Pulling faces, you git.
I didn't pull a face. There was no facial movement whatsoever. It was my eyes.
Okay. Well, I'm certainly glad we got to see it on the big screen.
Absolutely.
Talking of which, thank you very much to all the boys and girls at Star City. Oh, fuck. View! It's View! It's View! Sit down.
Look into my eye.
Sit down. We're going to do this. Okay. Well, I'm certainly glad we got to see it on the big screen.
Absolutely.
And talking of big screens, thank you very much to View at Star City. What?
Stop being such a pussy!
Going to kill you.
Talking about big ones.
Yeah, that's...
Stop it!
Keep the fin.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Stop this,
Is that bleeding soundboard on your iPhone?
Of course it's a soundboard on his phone.
It's not an iPhone, it's Android.
Good man.